Hi guys, welcome to Finding Joy in the Mundane. I am your host, Aya Nichols, and this episode is going to be about how to pursue liberty. Because, that is what we stand for, right? Freedom. Who wouldn't stand for freedom? I feel like that is something that the United States is known for, is like freedom. You're free to do whatever you want, I guess. But it is different because you're also free to do whatever you want in Lebanon. Because Hezbollah had taken over. And they're a terrorist group. So when your government's a terrorist group, people don't really feel the need to follow traffic laws or lights or signs or anything. So the law becomes very subjective based on what you believe or what you think they stand for. So having that perspective, I see freedom a little differently. Growing up, I was told that freedom was bad because Islam is so specific in the daily life, in how you are supposed to worship, that in your worship, you are supposed to pray 6 times a day. So imagine if Christians had to pray and bow down to God 6 times a day. I am willing to pray to Him 6 times a day. It was the fact that you had to cleanse yourself and do all these different things to be able to even approach God. And being a young girl, I was 6, seeing this happening, I'm like, why can't God just accept me for me? 1, I'm dirty because my mother isn't taking care of me. So you're dirty. You don't have a choice. And now you're supposed to go to God, and then you're being told that you can't go to God because you're dirty. That is what I felt throughout all of Islam, is this dead end. When I go beyond what it is on the surface, there is no other layer. There is no other answer, because the answer will always be Jesus. It will always lead you back to Christ. So they stay on the surface. I used to call myself a master chameleon, because seeing different women in my life become whoever you want them to be instantly. It was inspiring back then, until I started trying to become who I am. And then I started asking myself, is that who I even want to be? Do I want to be a chameleon? I spent all of high school and college a chameleon. The first time I was ever seen was in seminary, meeting Sam. He was the first person to finally see past all the trauma, all the hurt, because I had not gotten any treatment. Yes, I had been in institutions, but I feel like that's different than from actually doing the trauma work. So he saw me and he loved me. And that broke a layer that I needed to be broken for me to be able to show him who I truly was. And that is a very sensitive person. I am a very sensitive person. That is why I kind of limit communication. I can only handle but so much. So I will protect myself in that. And that includes people. That is my right. That is my freedom to do so. Yet how many people actually feel like they have the right to set a boundary with other people, versus living their life constantly preoccupied with what other people think and feel and believe about them? I vividly remember this. I was about 7. We were at some sort of park, like Six Flags. And I was constantly comparing my body to another person walking by. I was obsessed over the fact that I am big, and I wanted to know how big I was compared to everyone else. So I would ask Tala, and she would have to sit here and look at me and be like, yeah, maybe a little bit more. Or, no, you're fine. And that being the way you had validation, free to find myself. How do you find yourself when you have been raised in a bush of thorns, and every thorn not only hurts you but could hurt another person? It's like you're a cactus or a porcupine. Oh, you just don't want people touching you. Just don't touch it. I would never touch a porcupine. I would never even get near one because it would hurt. So that's how I felt. I felt that if people were to get to know me, then it would just sting them. It would just hurt them. I didn't want to be a person that just hurt people every time they asked me what I did in the 3rd grade, and I have to tell them I never even went to 5th grade, and then they feel sad all of a sudden. I don't want to be the reason why all of a sudden it's sad, even though that is my truth. And that is something I had to learn how not only to accept, but to cherish as something that has shaped me into the person that I am today. And without it, I can't be here. So I could never give it up. But make no mistake, it hurt to learn these lessons that I am trying to give with my show. Like, it hurt learning these lessons. So if I can spare you in any way, any additional hurt, then that's why I'm here. But again, you are free to do so. We are free to do whatever it is that we want. And is that really the freedom that the 4 or 5 head founders, whatever, Mount Rushmore, is that the freedom they were talking about? And I dove into that. And I got on ChatGPT because it's ChatGPT. And that way you can get on it and it will tell you the same thing. I asked it, what does liberty mean? What is the definition of liberty? And this is what it said. Liberty is the state of being free to think, act, and live without undue restraint, oppression, or control from an outside authority. It involves the ability to make choices for oneself while respecting the rights of others. Politicians and philosophers basically say there are 2 kinds of liberty: positive liberty and negative liberty. So positive liberty is the freedom to one's own potential and goals. So basically you have the right to have the power and opportunity to live out your values. Negative liberty, the absence of external constraints or interference, which means being left alone by others or the government. In short, liberty is about living without coercion while being able to direct one's own life responsibly. So I think in terms of this definition, we don't have freedom. Because right now we don't have the freedom to be able to act without external forces being and affecting us constantly every day. We have gone so past that point where it hurts. Because we can't even quiet our minds without being bombarded with an ad or something telling us that we are either too much or too little, or need this or need that, and need to do this and need to do that. Like, it sounds and it is living in misery. And that's what we're doing. But people just keep moving. I will say the Lord has built us as warriors. Like, humanity will continue to adapt and continue to change as it needs to in its environment to survive. And this is what it takes now to survive. When we don't even know what true freedom really looks like. And yet we send so many people off to defend it. and to fight for it, because we use our freedom. We have the freedom for speech. We have the freedom to assemble. We have the freedom to bear arms. We have the freedom to do good, and you have the freedom to do bad. Ultimately, I think that is the lesson. It is what you do with that freedom that matters. And what matters even more, I think, is the reason why we were given it. Because can you love someone without true freedom to choose you, unburdened, uninfluenced, with other external forces, other external agendas? I think we surrender our freedom every day and we don't even know it. But we definitely feel it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be this unhappy. But that raises the question, what does it actually mean to pursue liberty? To pursue freedom, like true freedom, to live your life and choose what it is that your heart loves. And your heart could love a lot of things. We were made to love something. Obviously, I'm gonna say God, but to those people who don't believe that yet, or may never, it's always back to God. And it's not just fairy tales like Santa. It's like I am with him every day to survive. So when people take their liberty and their freedom to bash him on TV or social media or anything, he's the reason why we have this freedom. And we use it against him. It's shameless. But we move on because it's just a TV show. Because it's just a joke. Because it's just a scene. Because it's just an idea. Because it's just a perspective. Because it's just what it is. So ultimately we end up defeated. I have yet to see what freedom truly looks like. And I am starting to believe that there is no freedom to be found here. Because we were never meant to be here. We were free in the garden. We surrendered our freedom for the apple that gave us the knowledge of good and evil. You wanted to know good and evil? You know good and evil. We ate of the fruit. This is what it produces. Again, we made that choice. But now, saying that there's a different choice. We have a different choice. We can just choose God. We can choose the maker of the fruit, the maker of our heart, the maker of our soul. Do you think anyone else could love you more than the person who shaped you? So if you have questions about why your body doesn't feel right or who you are doesn't feel right, the world is gonna tell you a million different things. But I'm telling you, it's because your body is telling you you need to go seek God. Seek your maker in who he made you to be. It is built within us. Yet we are now fighting against even the truth of what this is. We've gone so far beyond truth. Jesus will just have to redeem it himself. But till then, I want to truly understand and be able to put insight into what freedom really looks like. In Galatians 5, Jesus says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free." He gave us our freedom from the very beginning, and we lost it. We gave it up for something that we thought would be better, but ended up hurting us. And what we gave up was our relationship with God. So that is the healing that we need as a church, as people, is to go back to our God. We take our freedom and we give it to something else. We surrender it to someone else. We have them be a slave to them because you need them, you want something from them. Either way, you live your life as a slave. Chasing after what you want, chasing after freedom. You give away your freedom chasing after freedom. How does that work? These are the lies of the enemy that I think that we need to start calling out because it's hurting people. It's hurt me. So no, I will not give up my freedom that I have in Christ, that he died for me to have, for just another idol that is completely worthless. And you know, like, people talk about idols and they're like, well, what do idols really look like? Idols are the things that take your freedom. Drugs could be an idol. they take your freedom. Talk to any alcoholic, they take your freedom. Any drug addict, they take your life. Forget your freedom, they take your entire life. Gambling takes your life. Takes your money. Tell me one thing that actually gives you life other than Christ. Gives you life. Gives you freedom. Next week, we're going to be talking about the pursuit of happiness. And considering the name of the show, obviously is going to lead to joy. But I think it's worth exploring because, especially in this time when we're having all these different debates, we might as well be talking and speaking truth. Because there's so many lies out there that we need the truth to speak louder. So I challenge everyone to be able to start talking and commenting and letting me know what it is that you think freedom is. Even if it's different than my opinion. I want it to be different than my opinion. How else would we grow? But I want it to be a safe place. And that is something that I will take on as the person holding the conversation to make sure that it is a safe place to be able to have them. So whatever that looks like, I'm up for the challenge, I guess. Just be kind to each other. Like, it's really not that hard. Just be kind. Like, think about the person that they have a soul. Truth is truth. But I'd rather live in the light of truth and experience true freedom than to live a fake lie that disguises as freedom but really is me in chains. I don't want to walk around in chains. Your soul is valuable. You can give it to anything. I highly recommend you give it to Jesus. He is the only one that can love it in all of its fullness the way it was meant to be. And if you were to give it to other things, it will fail. It may sustain for a little, and the little can be years. The enemy can be deceptive for a long time. But when it fails you, and you're crushed and you don't have God by your side, then what? I just can't say it enough. Go back to your maker. Go back to who made you. We are pure clay. Have you ever seen clay? It can dissolve and then all of a sudden it's hardened. It's actually kind of crazy because I can't just dissolve and then show up back up all solid. But in God's hands, we can. Anywhere else will fail you. So I would rather seek my freedom in the person who died for it. Because Jesus died for me to have my freedom back after I already sold it away. And now we get the opportunity to use that freedom to worship. Worshiping God is the only way you get life from the pure act of worship. It fills you up. Other gods, the forms of worship, sacrifice, evil, schemes. Walking in the light is hard, but I would rather walk in the light with Jesus than be all alone in the dark. I know He will protect me, and if there are people who are going to come and stone me, then He will stand with me, because I know He will never do that. So when we talk about freedom and what it is that we are actually using it for, I hope you consider that. And if you want to know more, then I highly suggest that you read Galatians 5, because it really does describe how Jesus is here for our freedom. He made it, He paid for it, and now we're back to square one where we get to choose Him or not. You now have the right to go do whatever it is that you want, and many people have chosen other things. I'm just not gonna be one of those people. I want to choose Him every time, because why would He on earth choose me? So thank you guys so much for watching. See you for next episode where we will be talking about the pursuit of happiness. I'm excited. We're gonna do it. See you then. Bye.